Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to GT7 update 1.40 or spec 2. So alongside the new update, we got 50 new license tests to go up against and try and get through in the form of master licenses. These are laid out exactly the same as the original licenses. They're just meant to be much harder. Now overall, I would say they're, relatively doable. Yes, they're a bit more difficult, but in all honesty, they weren't as difficult as I expected them to be. Now, in terms of completing this, I set myself a few parameters I could not go against to ensure that pretty much anyone can go ahead and beat them. So the first of that is that I have to use the DualSense PS5 controller over using my wheel. Although wheel is certainly more advised and a lot more consistent, I just wanted to prove that they could all be done on a PS5 controller. The second is that I cannot turn on any of the assists unless the game states otherwise, which I think is only the case for the second license test. So yeah, they're the parameters. They're fairly doable. Yes, they're difficult, but they're not to the extreme that we've seen really in even past GT games. I'll then, slow it down, the footage, and go step by step as I need to if I need to kind of talk about something in more detail. And then we'll go into the reward cars and what ticket you get at the end of each individual license completion. So Master B1 up first. This is going to be in the Mazda 3 for starting and stopping one on wet tracks. Four-wheel drive car, this one, not too difficult to be totally honest. However, this was probably one of the licenses that actually took me the longest out of all of them, mainly because I'd either be braking too soon or braking just that slightly bit too late. So I'm going to slow it down right here where you need to be braking. As you can see, right before that little flashing board on the right hand side which says 200, you want to brake as hard as possible, work your way down the gears, and you should be able to get the car to stop right on time. 18.288 and a gold medal for that one. B2 up next. This time it's starting and stopping 2 on wet tracks, rear wheel drive, a lot more horsepower, and for this one I'm going to slow down pretty much the majority of this clip because it's easier to explain as we go along. So traction control at 1. As you can see, straight away we're going to let the car rev up. However, you're going to notice that it may bog down or attempt to try and spin up the rear wheels just far too much. So short shifting, fully advise that one. As you can see, you're going to see the car start to slip when we short shift to third. So it's all about just trying to keep it in the right direction. And then once again, you're looking for just as you get to the 100 boards. At this point, slam the brakes on, bring the car down the gears, and you should be able to stop right in time to be able to get the gold. As you can see, I got a 17.687 with the gold being a 17.780. So well within the time, within about a tenth. Again, you should be able to get that one spot on. It's mainly about keeping the control of the car when you first start the license. B3 up next. As you can see, this time we have cornering basics 1, this time using the little K car, that is the Honda S660. Now you can take this one pretty much flat out and the game will advise you to, and well, so do I. So move yourself all the way over to the left and get yourself up on that curve. Now I'm gonna slow the footage down because you're looking for the 50 board. Begin to turn in at that point, get yourself up and onto the curb, and this should give you a pretty nice angle to go out nice and wide and accelerate all the way to the finish. Relatively simple, this one. You shouldn't have too much of a problem getting the gold for this. So we're going to cross the line with a 17.122, giving us the gold medal for B3. B4 now, and we have the Honda S2000, once again cornering basics 2. Exact same as before, but much more horsepower and a full rear wheel drive vehicle. So here we go. I'll once again slow it down, and it's definitely going to change up where your braking marker is because you will have to brake this time, as well as where you'll need to turn in. So bring yourself to the left, look for the 100 board, lift off, brake nice and steady, turn in at the 50, lift off, slight throttle input if needed. Again, we're going to start putting full throttle there just as we're about to exit, and this should give you enough room to bring it out nice and wide and accelerate down to the finish line. You should be able to get the gold on this one. Definitely one of the toughest tests of the bunch, just mainly because you go from a relatively slow car to a car that feels a lot more powerful. Okay, so on to B5. This time we have the Sylvia Spec R for cornering intermediate 1. The first turn at the Red Bull Ring, this one. Quite a tricky one, and I'm going to take you straight through it. So you're going to begin right up the main straight. What you want to do is begin to head towards the left. You can run quite a bit of the curb. Don't run too much or it will fail you. When you see the 150 board, just after that, lift, brake, kind of the midpoint between the 150 and the 100. Brake nice and hard, bring it across. Now realistically you can kind of run over sort of the nice little bump in the curb there on the right hand side, but even on the safe side it's quite a lenient test and you should be able to get this one relatively easy. I expected this one to be much harder. 16.290 for this one. Again, a lot more lenient than I expected it to be. You shouldn't really have too much of a trouble with this one. B6 up next, this time at Spa. It's going to be turn 1. Can be quite a tricky turn to get right. We're using the 911 Carrera RS 964 from 1992. Not the easiest of cars to drive. However, this one once again is rather quite lenient. So let's have a look at how we should get this one done. So beginning off, you're going to come over where the sort of start finish straight is going to be. What you're looking for on the left hand side here is just after the 100 board, lift, brake, bring it down, bring the brakes on really, really hard, turn in, lift, let the car rotate, get as much onto that curb and as close to that barrier as possible, and again bring yourself out onto the curb, not too much or actually you'll start bogging down. Short shift to retain your grip, and there you go. Nice and easy, this one, rather quite simple. 16.769 for this one, only just beating it, but again much more lenient for a rather, you know, scruffy license test there. Definitely not the highlight of the bunch, but by no means got it done. B7 up next. This time we're using their brand new 190E. This is cornering intermediate 3. Turn 1 at Deep Forest Raceway. Pretty much a throwback to the license tests of old. And if you've done it there, although the layout's kind of changed a little bit, you should have a relative idea of how to tackle this one. So here we go. Older vehicle, comfort tires, brakes are not going to be as good as a modern car, but check here. So right hand side, brake just as the curb's there, giving yourself plenty enough time to get the car slowed down. Work your way through the gears, down the gears into gear 2. Again, just let the car sort of roll a little bit, a bit of throttle control there as you can see, and then start accelerating a bit more on exit. Try and aim for the wide bit of the curb, don't take too much or else it will kind of end the license test there, and you should have plenty of time to get this one done. 17 seconds, 0.613 for this one. Again, only just beating the time. It wasn't a perfect one, but it did manage to get the gold. Relatively easy, that one only took around about 2 goes. B8 up next. This time we've got the RX-8. We're going to be taking on Suzuka circuit for consecutive corners intermediate 1. Now this one again relatively easy, but definitely can be tricky if you're not used to how the road cars feel. Most of the time we're going to be taking this in race cars, so definitely a little bit different feeling. What you're looking for here on the left, as you can see, is just before the 50 board. Brake, lift, let the car turn in, get yourself up over that curb and then nice and wide onto this curb, and just where the curb ends, brake, lift once again, up over the curb, and then angle it so you're exiting the corner just slightly on the curb. Don't hit it too much or you will bog down and lose plenty of time. 17 seconds, 0.941 for this one. Just kind of close enough, just under a tenth to the actual gold target time. Wasn't perfect by no means, but definitely got that one done relatively easily. So we're on to B9 now. This time we've got the Sierra RS 500 Cosworth for consecutive corners intermediate number 2. This time at Road Atlanta. So this one I would say is probably easier than the previous one. It's just the final right-hander that is, you know, able to catch you out. So full acceleration, lift, brake, then turn in, let the car rotate, so lift off absolutely everything. Little bit of throttle control, bring the car out nice and wide just onto this curb here, and then sort of brake at the midpoint of that curb. Turn in, get the right hand tires up over that curb. Once again, throttle control on exit, and then try not to get yourself on that curb. I've noticed that it either risks you spinning out or you will bog down an absolute ton. So there we go. 20.707 for that one, with a gold time of 20.770. Only just, but again, these are designed to be very, very close. Not too bad, that one. Let's move on to the final B license test. Okay, so final test time, this time with B10. Now, to be honest, I'm going to be totally honest here. This is made more awkward mainly because of the car you're given. You're given the prehistoric Ford Roadster, a very, very cool car, and one that was kind of lost to time due to a glitch in the Legends dealer. This will be your reward vehicle for completing. Now I'm going to slow pretty much the majority of this down. So as you move over to the right hand side, bring the brakes in just before the free marker. Brake really, really hard and then start controlling those brakes. Then bring a little bit of revs in, let the car rotate, little bit of throttle control, and sort of try and aim yourself around to clip this curb here and then start applying more throttle. However, we're not quite done there, so we're at full throttle right now. Only, I think, 3 gears in this vehicle. Short shifting to keep the grip, looking for the 2 board, then brake just after it, bring the car in, again just sort of using those brakes and lifting off, then onto the throttle control. Try and get it as close to the right as possible without like hitting the sausage curb there. Try not to bog down on the curb and across the line. We got that one in a 30.505 with a target gold time of 30.750. This will give you all of the gold medals for the Master B license. So there we go, we've obtained the National B Master license. For all bronze we get a 6-star roulette part ticket. Not too great of a reward, however we do get the very cool reward of the Ford Roadster, a car that was pretty much lost to time due to a glitch in the Legends dealership. Is now yours through this means of completing all gold license tests for Master National B. A great reward, to be honest, and it has the voodoo swap as well, which can make it a pretty much straight line lethal rocket ship. So yeah, pretty pleased with this one. Hopefully this guide allows you to get on and get all those golds for Master National B. So I'll have my Master National A guide up pretty soon. Again, I'm going to try and categorize them. Same rules will apply. Controller only, no assists, kind of all that stuff, and I will slow it down and take you through step by step once again. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. If this video helped you out, or you're just into Gran Turismo 7 content, feel free to become a channel member today. Have a great day, guys. Peace.